Tribal Nation. Our physicians at ringside, Chief Physician Dr. Michael Schwartz, along with Dr. Anthony Alessi, Dr. Joseph Carpentieri, and Dr. Walter Iolaci. Timekeepers at the bell, also keeping count of the knockdowns, Lou Dell and Frank Lombardi. Introducing our three judges scoring this bout from ringside: from Avon, Connecticut, Glenn Feldman; from Providence, Rhode Island, Robert Paolino; from West Hartford, Connecticut, George Smith; and the third man to the ring, our referee in charge of this bout, Michael Ortega. All right, fans, here we go. 12 rounds of boxing for the IBF Bantamweight Championship of the World. Introducing to you first the challenger on my right, fighting out of the blue corner. Entering the ring wearing white trunks with yellow trim, joining us from Bangkok, Thailand. He weighed in at the bantamweight limit of 118 pounds. His record stands at 40 wins, 5 losses, with 28 wins coming by way of knockout. Here is the IBF number 4 ranked contender, introducing the challenger, Ratanachai Vorapin. And his opponent across the ring, the defending world champion on my left, fighting out of the red corner, wearing black trunks with blue trim, fighting out of his home of Cincinnati, Ohio. He weighed in the same as his opponent, 118 pounds, undefeated in his campaign to the ring with 23 wins, no losses, 1 draw, and 21 big wins coming by way of knockout. Tonight he is making the 8th defense of his title. Please welcome the undefeated IBF Bantamweight Champion of the World, known as the Cincinnati Kid, introducing Tim Austin. Once again, Michael Ortega, our referee in charge, now to give instructions. 12 rounds of boxing scheduled.
Gentlemen, we went over the rules. In a good, clean fight. Protect yourself at all times. Obey my commands at all times. Touch them up and good luck. Touch them up. Touch them up.
Like John Ruiz, Tim Austin owns just one of the many belts in his division, but he is regarded as the best bantamweight in the world, the true champion. And so we recognize this as a true championship fight.
Two southpaws. And so you have none of the southpaw versus conventional fighter awkwardness that is sometimes the case. If you're a hard-punching southpaw like Austin, who wants to set up hard right-hand and left-hand power shots, George, I'm sure you're kind of glad to see a southpaw opponent there.
Southpaws, even if you are a southpaw, they're the most difficult fighters to fight. In the gym, you can seldom find a whole lot of southpaws to spar with, and naturally you want to go in the opposite direction because that's where you handle the knives and forks and all that.
So
this is not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy for either one of these guys.
For either one of these guys.
No.
So because they have so much more experience fighting against conventional fighters, it's still a quandary to fight against the southpaw.
It's not nothing that you just go to bed and say, I hope I wake up tomorrow and fight a southpaw. It's not the way it goes. But the champion has the height. He has the reach. Let's see him take advantage of it. There's no need in being taller and having longer arms if you don't use them. Now for the challenger, he better go out there and win the first 5 rounds hands down, because you don't want to get exchanged. One fighter win one round, another win the other, and you trying to take his title.
Tough assignment for Vorapin. He has a history as a slow starter, tends to build the tempo as the rounds go on. And amazingly to us, he left Thailand and flew here to the woods of Connecticut Wednesday, 3 days ago on the 12th, crossing the international date line and coming from a place with a 12-hour time difference from the time zone here to fight on only 3 days preparation. Got to be extremely difficult for Vorapin.
Yeah, in his head, Jim, it's a 10:45 in the morning.
But that doesn't really matter. If you're a fighter, you get hit in the face out there, all of that goes out of the door.
Yeah, you're not likely to be
basically
sleeping.
defending yourself out there in that ring. The only good if you lose is a good excuse.
Relatively slow first round. Austin landed some jabs early. Vorapin now finally comes forward and tries to attack, but Austin spins away.
Vorapin can realize if he just goes to the body, keep everything aimed low, get closer and land more shots. Don't aim for the head so early in the boxing match because Austin is so tall and he knows how to get out of the way.
Well, particularly the get closer part, George. It just doesn't look like Vorapin would get much done from out at distance where he's been for most of this round.
He's starting to jab to the chest. Saw the right jab right in the chest of Austin this time by Vorapin.
Best part of this round was their boxing trunks.
As we go to Vorapin's corner, between rounds, they'll speak Thai in Vorapin's corner, and our interpreter is Yoden Mustartan, and he'll handle the Thai interpretation for us.
Zip the shot up under there and back out. You know, keep fake left, go right. Don't let him get his feet squared up. You're doing all right. He's reaching for your jab. That right hook, straight left hand. With speed. You ain't got to. Okay. Good. ต่อยปุ๊บนะต่อยปุ๊บแล้วออกไวๆนะ
After
ต่อย
you
แล้ว
punch,
อย่าไป
get out quick.
ค้างนะ
Don't stay in there.
คอยเกี่ยวแล้วออกเกี่ยวแล้วตัดลำตัวก่อนใกล้ๆ
Try to hit the body. Stay close.
ยาว
Take a deep breath.
Landed 2. 10 of Austin's 12 connected punches were jabs. So the first round belonged to Tim Austin's jab. You heard Vorapin's trainer asking him to get in and get out. And he seems more determined early in this round to at least begin to try to cut down the distance between himself and Austin.
I said earlier, it's very important for a challenger, Vorapin, to get in there and try to win the first 3 rounds. Make sure that certain the judges know that, hey, I'm taking this guy's title. Don't let him get ahead and then he can coast. Hard to take a title away from a champion. The good thing about Vorapin is that he has a lot more experience. He's been in this position with taller opponents before.
And Vorapin wobbled by a right and a left cross by Austin. Austin starting to open up and fire the left hand as he steps in closer. Body shot by Austin and the left hand over the top.
Got a long right jab like Austin. It's a difficult task to try to penetrate you because you're going to hit with something all the time. His arms are so long. Jabs you before he hits you, and then he jabs you after he hits you.
When a fighter like Austin starts throwing those big punches from outside, it's because he thinks that he's invulnerable to anything his opponent has to offer. And Austin is in the position in his career of wanting to make not just a winning performance, but an eye-catching performance every time out. This, believe it or not, is only the second time he's made money in 6 figures.
Years, 24 fights for Austin. It's difficult at that work rate to become the superstar he'd like to be.
It's also difficult in this low weight class as an American fighter. If he wants to make an impact, he's going to have to move up to the featherweight divisions where there are so many more name opponents for him.
Austin stretches those legs so far apart that if you think you're close to him, he just closes them up and he's so far away.
Mark your 2002 calendars for these.
Here now, that left hand. He's under, bring the shot underneath and over.
Here's Austin throwing some long punches. It seemed that Vorapin was more trying to get out of the way of the punches than really hurt by any of those punches.
Absolutely. I said he'd been wobbled by a punch. Turned out from the replay you could see he was more off balance than pushed back.
But Vorapin already, I think, has some blood coming from his head and will be getting a little bit more desperate. And he showed us against Danny Romero in that upset that he can be a dangerous fighter when he gets desperate.
Yeah, once you've had a lot of experience of being beaten up by longer reach guys, you know that when the opportunity presents itself, you just got to charge in and take chances. And that's what he did the last of the other round. He just decided, I'm going to get wild the first of this round also. The chances are great if you just get wild and stop trying to be orthodox with Austin. Good body shots by Vorapin.
In his big victory over Danny Romero, the win that propelled him into this title shot, Vorapin was cut early in the fight, developed that sense of urgency that Larry was talking about, and stepped in and took command.
He's now been warned twice for low blows. Going to the body is the right tactic right now to try to slow the faster man down.
Austin's got to make certain that he doesn't fall prey to those ropes.
Hard left hand by Vorapin momentarily stuns Austin. And Vorapin steps in to chase, sensing that Austin was wobbled by the right hand.
And it's the ropes. It's the ropes. You got to stay away from the ropes when you're in with the short opponent.
Another big right by Vorapin.
While Austin has his legs and wits about him, he does seem slightly off balance, off center. Perhaps a little bit dazed.
He stayed with his right jab, though. He didn't lose his paw.
One of the great physical contrasts I've ever seen in a lower weight class is the difference between Vorapin's legs and Austin's legs. Vorapin, like so many Asian fighters, has soccer legs. They are like tree trunks. Austin has toothpicks in there.
They're a kickboxer's legs.
We used to think Prince Nassim's legs were amazing. This guy has stronger legs than Naz and weighs less.
Austin has the Thai noodle legs.
Vorapin's brother has a Thai noodle shop.
Austin is starting to loosen up a little bit and understand that I just can't box this guy and keep him off me with my jab. I'm going to have to hurt him with something. That's what he's deciding to do now. Open up with some power shots.
Throwing more left hands. And he misses wildly with that one.
Take a deep breath.
Tell him
Strong
next
breath.
time, low blow, I'm going to take a point, okay? That's twice.
Go, good.
Okay. The towel, we're done, guys, right?
Yeah.
Good job, brother.
Man, Ratanachai, good, man.
My wife not flowing. Hold on.
Counter left.
All right. And hit this man to the body. You hit him with if you hit his body, his head's going to come next. All right? He's throwing them wide shots. You got to go right back down to that body.
Here on the ropes, Vorapin lands a solid straight right hand right on the bridge of the nose after a right hook. The important thing about this little exchange is that it gave Vorapin some hope that if he presses the action, he can make something happen.
Let's go.
Might have given him the round, too. CompuBox numbers in round 3 found them both landing the same number of punches. 13 out of 63 for Austin, 13 out of 51 for Vorapin. Vorapin with the edge in power shots. He was the aggressor in that round. Harold, how do you have it through 3?
Okay, Jim. 29-28, 2 rounds to 1. Jimmy Austin. Jimmy had to give that 3rd round to Ratanachai Vorapin. To tell you the truth, I mean, he landed the defining punches in the round. I mean, you know, clear-cut, real good shots. Jim, watch the right jab of Jimmy Austin. Although it's a very effective punch, it's borderline backhand. If you throw it backhand, it's illegal. And you can often hear his corner yelling, "Don't backhand, don't backhand."
Has got it with his reach, got his opponent throwing wild and reaching out. That's what you want to do. Keep the jab coming, though. Don't let him get any closer. You stop jabbing, the guy gets closer, gets relaxed. Then all of a sudden, those punches that he's missing you with start to hit you in the chest. That's when the trouble starts. There you are right there. For some reason, Austin has stopped throwing his jab. There it goes again. Vorapin has got to coast him and lower him in to stop jabbing.
Goes back to working the jab again. But George, he seems to want to be set to try to fire a big left hand when Vorapin is coming in at him, and as a result isn't beating him to the punch with the jab the way he can.
Well, he want to keep this fight on the outside. That's what he want to do. He's jabbing, doing an excellent job, but he's been caught a lot of low punches. And that means his legs are going to slow down in a bit. He's going to have to tantalize him with the jab.
On the other hand, Vorapin's face is beginning to show the effects of Austin's jab, as there is puffiness around both eyes and discoloration along the forehead.
Austin is doing a little body movement. You want to do that, but you want to make certain you're ahead on your punch.
As we go to the corners between rounds, George, let's take a quick look at the comparative size of these two fighters' legs, just because it's such a dramatic contrast. And you tell me, is there any implication for what ultimately can happen in the fight as the result of the fact that one guy is just so much more strongly based than the other?
Not at all. All of it is just looks.
It's just looks.
No, Arnold Schwarzenegger could tell you something about those legs. He outpointed anyone in those tournaments with good legs like that.
But it's not bodybuilding, it's boxing, and it's no liability to Austin in your view that he's fighting against a guy whose legs are twice as big as his.
He's fighting, he's going to win this on heart. It's inside hidden from the public.
There you see Austin was 12 out of 33 on his jab in round 4 by CompuBox numbers. When he does that, it's difficult for Vorapin to get in and pressure him. Austin begins round 5 with a jab.
Austin is starting to be a little closer. As you can see, there's not much distance between one right foot and the other's right foot.
On the line.
Pretty close.
On the line.
Austin asking referee Michael Ortega if Vorapin shouldn't be penalized for low blows, and Ortega saying they're on the belt line.
After the referee has helped you out, Austin, don't get this trouble in anymore because you've already gave a warning. Vorapin is getting the distance and he's not closing in. He's not doing anything about it. Once you get close, punches have to come.
stepping up his level of aggression here in round 5. Austin lands a counter right that drives Vorapin back. Big left hand over the top by the Thai fighter.
Blood from the nose of Vorapin now.
Austin doesn't seem to want to move anymore. Acting like an aggressor momentarily. He's not backing up anymore. That's not a good sign for Vorapin.
Don't backhand, don't backhand.
Body shots too by Austin.
Good right hand body shot. Now he gets more accurate with the left. Vorapin drives him back with a left and a right into the zone and creates space to get out of the corner.
Now, all of the things the challenger should be doing, the champion is doing. He's going to the body. He's backing the challenger up.
Because he can.
You're supposed to risk it all. If you're challenging for the world title, you got to risk everything. Last thing you want to do is back away.
Vorapin smiling at Austin as if to say, I've tasted your power and I can take it. Austin looking for sharper and bigger left-hand shots. Still to come tonight, John Ruiz tries to make his statement as one of the very top heavyweights in the sport. As he fights Evander Holyfield for the 3rd time, Ruiz says, hey, nobody's tougher than Holyfield. I invite any other heavyweight to fight him regardless of what you think of his age. And John Ruiz has gone 24 tough rounds with Evander Holyfield already. The first 2 fights were very similar. Will the 3rd be yet another 12-round battle? We shall see. The largely pro-John Ruiz crowd on hand. Now what's going on here? George.
Yes.
Vorapin down on his knees with the trainer pushing at his back.
Well, he's been throwing a lot of wild shots. And remember the old story of Sonny Liston missing Muhammad Ali in Florida? Throws your back out.
So Vorapin appearing to have trouble with the lower back.
You got to be careful throwing all those shots in outsider boxing arena. And jabs to your head can also throw your back out. Vorapin is starting to be the aggressor again. That's the way you want to do it if you're the challenger. Take it to him every round.
Vorapin has a rope burn on the front of his right shoulder from one of the moments when he leaped at Austin and wound up crashing against the ropes instead.
He's doing a lot of leaping, and that's not good. But when he's close, like right now, he's not doing anything. He waits until his opponent the champion gets far away, then he tries.
Tries to jump at him.
Too many low blows.
1 point. Okay, low blow.
Michael Ortega removing a point
low blow.
from Ratanachai Vorapin.
Time in. Box.
Vorapin looking at his corner as if he's confused by that.
The referee was very generous, has been generous throughout the fight. He's allowed him to get away with a few, but he just couldn't anymore.
Yeah, but George, look how high Austin's trunks are.
He's allowed him to get away with the border shots.
Because of the high trunks.
Because of the hard shots. But when he gets a little too low, he has no choice.
Vorapin went downstairs again. Got away with him. Vorapin, perhaps sensing that things are slipping away on the scorecards, begins to show even more reckless aggression. But it's just reckless aggression. It's not tactical aggression.
He's doing the best he can at this point. But that's what he does. He's never out of the fight. Keeps throwing shots. Those jabs are enough to just drive up your backbone crazy.
Tim Austin is called the Cincinnati Kid because he's from Cincinnati, but I believe he's only fought there once as a professional. This was his last fight. One reason he's had difficulty making money because he doesn't have much of a following.
Left-hand counter shot by Vorapin.
Vorapin is playing counterpuncher, though. You don't want to do that.
And grinning at Austin, trying to play a little bit of a mental game with him, but in round 5, Timmy Austin threw 69 punches, his highest output of the fight, and threw a lot more in round 6.
You're doing good. Keep up, champion. Okay, keep up.
You won that round. You won that round.
Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath.
It was minus the point, so it's a draw.
Larry, let's take a look at some of Vorapin's, I called it reckless aggression.
Well, it's the best he can do against a tall, sure-footed, quick-footed, very smart opponent. And there's a blow right on the belt line. And as we pointed out earlier, that's a very high belt line Tim Austin has.
Tim goes right back to that right jab. Tic-tac-toe.
He's connected on 57 jabs in the fight by CompuBox numbers to only 14 for Vorapin, who gives up height and reach. Harold, into the second half of the fight, how do you have it scored through 6?
Okay, Jim, I got it 5 rounds to 1, 59-54, Timmy Austin. Round 6 becomes a 10-8 round if Austin won it because Vorapin loses a point on a low blow. And you know, Jim, sometimes you can hear that shot hit the cup, and I think that's what Mike Ortega did. I mean, virtually you could hear it. It's been so low. The defining point for low blow is still a belly button. Larry Merchant is 100% right. He does have those trunks high, but you have to picture where the belly button is. Anything below the belly button is a low blow.
Are you telling us, Harold, that everybody has their belly button in the same place?
No, Larry, but you know, you got to have some defining point, and you know, in boxing, traditionally, it's been the belly button.
And Larry, most people have it on the belly.
Low or high?
Backhand.
Where of them?
Austin is doing a little pot shot now. And here you are, you're a challenger, and you're on the ropes waiting for one shot. You don't want to do that. This is your opportunity to fight for the title. You got to get out there and try it. Even if you miss, you keep trying.
Outgunned in terms of skill, outbodied by the taller, rangier Austin. Vorapin tries to roughhouse, land a sucker punch, do whatever he can to change what is basic reality in there.
That's why if you're a challenger, you want to get out there and win the first 6 or 7 rounds to make the champion come to you so you can get him with hard shots.
Easier said than done against a good champion like this.
You just don't box them. You just fight them. Fight them. But it has to happen in the gym. You can't wait until the boxing match to let it happen. Training camp should be all about that. First 6 rounds.
Vorapin has fought the other top 118-pound American, Mark Johnson. Johnson defeated him.
Slipping away from him. Uppercuts. All right, we need it. Okay, you're gonna hit him to the head. He got a big old head. You hit that body and start zipping them uppercuts. Everything's gonna come to you.
10.
Okay, body shot. Give me a body shot and uppercut. That
He got
left
another
hand
little
around here and
cut
get out.
on his
That
right
fire
eye
over here and
above
get
the
out.
other one.
Hit it
Clean
up
punch.
the middle. He got his hands out here now. I need them uppercuts.
Overhand. Overhand.
Move. Keep moving. Keep moving.
Okay? No. Okay?
ในเงื้ออย่างเดียวก็มองเห็นดินะ
You look up, okay. Try to trick them.
ให้เขาตกใจแล้วออก
Try to frighten him.
Stay there.
Mixing in a little English
see
over
no
in
backhands
Vorapin's
now.
corner. Overhand. Boom, boom, overhand.
Did I hear him say you got to trick him?
I think so. The guy with 21 knockouts in his 23 wins, Austin shows a lot of patience. Maybe that's why he's got the 21 knockouts and 23 wins, because he's patient enough to wait for things to come his way.
And he moves like a cat. Just able to go forward and backward with the same precision.
Customarily, when a fighter like Austin is just too good for his weight class and isn't making a lot of money in that weight class, he's eager to move up. But Austin tells us he'd just as soon unify the various titles, even if he makes less money doing it.
Yeah, if it was all about money, Larry, there wouldn't be any boxing matches.
I'm just, we want to see him in good fights, hopefully moving up in weight the way most fighters do. But he's very content here, and he's been fighting for 8-9 years since the '92 Olympics. All at the same weight.
Yeah, you got to plan your work. Sugar Ray Robinson told me, plan your work and work your plan. Don't let anything, strange advice sneak in on you.
What a telling and poignant comment. If it were all about money, there wouldn't be any boxing matches.
Oh, no. That's the truth.
I believe George is right.
And that's true even for the multimillionaires in the sport.
Right. I mean, why is Evander Holyfield fighting?
It's not about the money. Shouldn't be, anyway.
Tell you what, though, $1 million can buy a lot of burgers. Whoa! Right hook to the body.
Keep him up.
By the champion. Long arms and a body puncher. Now, you wouldn't suspect with the thinness of his legs that he'd be throwing power shots to the body.
But they're the only legs he's ever had.
You got to do
what you got to do
with what you have.
That's right. He's going to have to do it with these legs. Shot over the top by Austin. One of Austin's most effective power punch combinations in the fight. And a rocking right after the bell. He's still fighting. He's made a lot of money.
Go for the win. Never mind knockout.
Austin with a very accurate round in round 8 by CompuBox numbers. He landed 27 out of 58 punches. The 27 connects. Highest number of the fight so far for Austin. 19 out of his 45 punches were jabs.
The good thing about Austin, he has great conditioning. Still able to snap that right jab. That's not an easy task. When you've been hit below the belt, somebody punches too. Still snapping his jab. Vorapin has just got to take a chance. Take a chance. Get wild. Stay wild. You can't win a boxing match. You got to make it into a fight.
You mean a brawl?
Yep.
Well, he's trying, to his credit, because he's taken a beating in this fight.
Talk about Austin's conditioning. Consider that he's shown constancy and stayed in shape despite, as we've mentioned several times, the relatively sparse fighting schedule. Only 24 pro fights in 9 years as a professional. And despite the fact that he's a knockout puncher who's accustomed to putting his opponents away early. He says that he found his connection to God, became a religious person after both of his parents died, and that's what sustains him in the gym.
Vorapin just cannot get close with those shots.
Body punches right on the belt line by Vorapin. He's already lost 1 point for low blows. Good timing on the counter from Vorapin there.
This is a good round for Vorapin. Until that moment.
It was.
Don't backhand, don't backhand.
Until he paused to admire what he had done up to that point.
The champion goes when he's on the ropes, turns right back around and gets into the middle of the ring again.
Okay. Take a deep breath.
Lead.
Take a deep breath.
Come on, let's go.
3 times.
Good.
Try to go to the body. He tried to get away from you.
ยก 10 เลยเล็ก ลุย
It's
เลยนะ
10 round
ลุย
now.
ลำตัวเลยนะ
Go forward. Okay. Go to the body.
เอาใหญ่ข้าหุบมุมตึ๊บเลย Yeah, come on now. Okay, now. Come on through. Come on through, baby. We're going down the stretch. Come on now. Come on. Come on. Let's go. Let's boldly go where we got to go now. Come on now. Come on, start closing these rounds strong. Come on now.
In case you feel like you recognize Tim Austin's trainer but aren't sure, that's Aaron Snowell. 10 years ago, he was the trainer of Mike Tyson. First man to train Tyson after Tyson left the cocoon of Cus D'Amato and Kevin Rooney. Round 10 begins. Harold, how do you have it through 9?
Okay, Jim, I got it 7 rounds to 2, 88-82, Timmy Austin. Somehow or another, Vorapin got in enough left hands to win that 9th round. Jim, you know, we often talk about the scoring, we talk about defensive ring generalship. Look at how Timmy Austin keeps Vorapin just at a distance where he can hit Vorapin and Vorapin can't hit him. Good ring generalship. Also, great defense by Austin. Look at those elbows in tight, arms up high, blocks the shots with the elbows and the gloves.
At least usually he does, although he got hit by a left hand and a right hand there while you were talking about it.
In order for a short, stocky fighter like Vorapin to beat a classy fighter like Austin, he has to be able to punch harder than he apparently can. Some of those clean punches have just not done enough damage to Austin.
That's what makes Manny Pacquiao of the Philippines such an interesting and exciting young fighter, is you don't often see an Asian fighter with real power, and Pacquiao has it. He fights at 122 pounds, 1 weight class up from here. And would be an interesting opponent for Austin, because like Austin, he's a southpaw power puncher.
Austin keeps the distance. He throws the hard shot and never closes in. He keeps that same distance. Vorapin is moving around just hoping that this guy will get careless and try to finish him off with a hard shot so he can catch him in the exchange.
Austin acting kind of cocky now, as if he thinks he has Vorapin where he wants him. which I guess is in the ring.
He's made a tough opponent look not too tough tonight. Vorapin is a tough guy. Just can't get off with that right jab of Austin.
And although only 2 of Tim's previous fights have ever gone the distance, he seems, actually 3 have gone the distance. He seems quite content to go ahead and pound out a decision against Vorapin. He doesn't seem as though he's anywhere close to likely to take kind of chance that would give Vorapin an opportunity to land one big shot.
That Austin has a jab that'll throw back to Sandy Saddler with those lean, skinny legs and arms. You wonder where they're getting the power from.
I sense that Austin senses that Vorapin might be ready to go. He's really letting go with all of his punches now.
Very quickly between rounds here, let's give you a preview of the styles of the 2 heavyweights you'll be seeing in the main event as established in their first 2 fights with each other. John Ruiz has been most effective against Evander Holyfield, landing the right hand. He's landed the right hand because he's been able to set it up with his jab, throwing more jabs than Holyfield in both of their 2 previous fights. By and large, Ruiz most effective when he's at a distance and not infighting with Holyfield, because Holyfield, when he's able to get inside, is more adept than Ruiz at throwing combinations and has been able to pressure John Ruiz from close range, particularly with the left hook, which you saw him landing accurately twice there. Holyfield, meanwhile, is the more physical of the 2 fighters, and in both fights, Ruiz and his corner complained relentlessly to the referees about perceived Holyfield fouls. They believe that Holyfield has butted, has hit low, has thrown elbows, and has otherwise fouled Ruiz. Evander says it's because of Ruiz's awkward style. It's hard for me to get out of his way. In round 10, Timmy Austin threw a CompuBox high, 84 punches. That's his highest number for the fight, landing 25 of them. As George Foreman pointed out, Austin is in immaculate condition.
That's what it takes when you're going 12 rounds and you got to depend on that right jab as he's doing. It takes power in the legs to just keep the snap in those punches. When you're not in condition, your jabs fall over your opponent's head, and count yourself clutching and holding.
You mentioned the great Sandy Saddler, George. One of a variety of significant boxing figures to have passed away in this year of 2001.
Yeah, we lost a great one in Sandy Saddler. He could stick those long arms out there, keep them on you. If you get into the ropes, he'd stick you. Move out of the ropes, he'd stick you.
He could also stick you with his pointy elbows.
Sandy was the fighter. Now Vorapin has got picking his shots a little bit. You got to get a little wilder if you want to pull the title away.
Low blow by Austin.
The referee is allowing them to hit right on the edge of the top borderline of the trunks, not on the lower borderline. Has never lost concentration of his original fight plan. Jab, move in, move out. Straight left, move in, move out. It's hard to fight a boxer who sticks to his plan.
Particularly when he's taller and better than you are.
You really want to get them mad so they can get wild on you.
As Austin almost did there.
He misses, but he still keeps his distance. Misses you by a mile, and he stays away about a half mile.
on the way home, Tim.
We in 12.
We're in 12. See how you zip that uppercut in there? You finally gave it to me. Just don't get careless.
Watch this water all over the place here.
Okay.
We've got one more round. One more round to go.
You gotta win this round, okay? Come on, you gotta win this round. Over here, you had it. Okay? Good body shot. Down and up with your jab, baby. Down and up with your jab. Careless, Tim. Even if you gotta touch.
Okay, come on. Come on. Okay, this is the last round now. One more round.
Keep your hand in. Keep it in.
Well, it's been a long week for Ratanachai Vorapin. He left Bangkok on Wednesday, December 12th, and flew overnight, crossing the international date line, arrived here on Wednesday, December 12th, only to fight 3 days later. Now he's had to go the distance against Tim Austin. And Harold Letterman, how do you have it scored coming to the last round?
Okay, Jim, 9-2, 108, 100, 108, 100. Very, very decisive so far for Timmy Austin. I mean, it's going to be hard for him to lose this fight. Movement, great right jab, clean punching, good defense, beautiful ring generalship. He's the total package. He's in complete control of this fight.
If Vorapin can just land one of those hooks, this guy has thin legs. He can drop him. Take a chance. Just take a chance.
I thought the size of the legs had no implications for the progress of the fight. But I think Vorapin...
The fight, but I mean a knockdown.
Right.
Those guys, if you can just clip them on the chin, get yourself something good down. Now you just missed that time.
Just missed with a straight left hand.
Got to take a chance. Don't worry about getting cut.
Now Austin lands his left down the pipe. And Austin using his feet to try to ensure a victory. Yesterday at the fighter meeting, Larry Merchant asked Ratanachai Vorapin, he said, do you think it's possible you could fly all the way here from Thailand and get a decision over Tim Austin in America? And Vorapin said, yes, I'm very happy to be here. Which either meant that he didn't understand the question or he didn't want to acknowledge it.
Well, you see, this the last round, and who's the aggressor? Not the guy who traveled from afar. He's still challenging the champion. He's not tired at all. If he could just get one in, just one. He failed just for nothing.
Trip, not a knockdown.
Trip him. In your gloves. You right? No knockdown.
One punch to the chin, he can change everything. Almost got it.
George, you think like a puncher.
Vorapin is also. Got to get him, though. You just can't wait. Get right. Almost got it. Floyd Patterson would just jump those shots. Can't wait.
Drill it all the way through. Drill it again. Drill it again. Drill it again. Step to it. Drill it again.
Well, superior technique and impeccable control throughout the fight appear to have earned Tim Austin a successful defense of the World Bantamweight Championship.
I think with this purse, Vorapin can buy another noodle shop.
To match his brother's noodle shop.
What did he tell us his favorite noodles were, Jim? With ox blood?
That's right.
Ox blood noodles.
Boiled noodles with a little blood in them. That's what he said.
And he shed a little blood tonight.
Started to say, can put his own blood in there, right?
Gave a gallant effort against a fighter with just too much class.
So what about future opponents for Austin as we await a decision here, Larry?
Well, if he wants to move up, there's Mark Johnson. Everybody would love to see him fight Mark Johnson, Paulie Ayala, Clarence Adams, in the 122-pound Manny Pacquiao. That may be the most makeable of these fights. Pacquiao, I should say, because all the other fighters here are Bob Arum fighters, and Timmy Austin is a Don King fighter, and the twain seldom meet. And of course, if he wants to go up still higher to the featherweight division, there's Barrera and Morales. And being as tall as he is and quick as he is, he could be effective as a featherweight.
All right, let's go to ring announcer Jimmy Lennon Jr. right now and find out by what margin Tim Austin has won the fight.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of action, the judges are in agreement. We have a unanimous decision. Here are the score totals. Judge at ringside, Glenn Feldman, scores the bout 115 to 112. Judge George Smith sees it 117 to 110. And Judge Robert Paolino scores the bout 118 to 109. All three in favor of the winner. Still undefeated and still the IBF Bantamweight Champion of the world, the Cincinnati Kid, Tim Austin.
A unanimous decision victory for the fighter whose style, class, superior technique controlled the fight from the beginning. Let's take a look at final CompuBox numbers, and you'll see that Austin landed 120 more punches than his opponent, threw 275 more punches than his opponent, and landed at a higher percentage as well. Jabs dominated the fight for Austin. He landed 108 more jabs than his opponent and threw more than twice as many. Throwing 561 jabs in a fight when you are the taller fighter, a likely tactic for victory. So Tim Austin remains unbeaten and looks forward to bigger things. Meanwhile, still to come tonight, John Ruiz risked